So this is our garden update. Everything that we planted is growing. I want to almost knock on something. It's growing really, really good this year. I'm hoping that it's going to be a much better year than last year. Last year was a disaster. We brought a lot of other plants that we had in here because we had a huge winter garden in here. We brought them outside. Some plants are good to go outside, so we have a lot more space here to put other plants. So these are our teddy bear sunflowers, which are beautiful. I haven't seen them in person, and when I got the seeds and I looked at people planting them, they're just really pretty. And the sunflowers themselves are not so big, the flowers, but they produce 5 to 6 flowers per bush. And the bush is about 17 inches, 18 inches tall, so it's going to be very pretty. I'm thinking of planting in front of the garden. I had an excellent germination rate. I'd say about 95% of them germinated, and I was impatient with the last few, so I put in another seed and had 2, which I'm refusing to pull out. I think I want to replant it when the other seedling grows a little bigger. And only one kind of didn't come up, and I put in another seed, and as you can see, it's slowly coming up. This was the marigolds. There's 2 different kinds that I planted this year. I like the marigolds. I feel like I need to plant more because they're very good to plant with tomatoes. They help to keep the bugs out. They bloom all summer long. They're just a very, very easy plant to grow. So I'm definitely growing more. So this variety is called the Marigold Petite Mix. I think they're not so tall. And this one is the Marigold Cupid Mix. A little different flowers, different colors. I like the fact that there are oranges and yellows in here. So can't wait what it turns out. Definitely need to plant more. This is my first year growing the Snow Princess Calendula. I love the calendula. I like the smell from the flower. And look how big the leaves are. I mean, I planted them around the same time that I planted marigolds, even earlier. And it grows so rapidly. So I have to watch out for spacing and where I'm going to plant it. Maybe it might go in the ground quite soon, actually. On the second row here is what I started planting a little bit later in the year. Last time I did earlier, and my tomatoes were huge by the time they went in the ground. And as you know, we're building the garden, so I have a feeling our garden beds are going to be getting ready a little bit later than usual. So this is the couple of variety, the Tiger Cherry Roma tomatoes, the Juby Cherry tomatoes, Black Cherry, and Tomato Princess tomatoes. So we planted about, I want to say I have 4 different varieties in each tray, so about 8 different varieties of tomatoes. And they germinated beautifully. I'm still waiting. These I planted a day or 2 later. Oh, let me see if I can get that lid off. So I'm still waiting for them to come up. And most of them already came up. So I planted 2 in each. So I already pulled the extras on the other tray. So one has better chances of growing. And again, it's 72 plants. So obviously I'm not going to plant all of them. I'm going to end up giving some away. This beautiful flower is an African daisy. It's a blue African daisy. So it's a beautiful big white flower daisy with a blue inside. I don't know how else to explain it. It didn't have a very good germination. It's not that easy to grow, so about only 60% of it germinated. So what I did is I planted more seeds in the other half, and some of them are starting to come up. So I'm hoping I can still get a whole tray of these beautiful flowers. And I made myself a promise to plant my peppers early. For some reason, I know peppers are so hard to grow, and they grow so slow that I end up planting them later. This year I'm actually on target. I planted them really early. They were planted actually before anything else, so they are starting to come up and developing their true leaves, and about 75% germinated, but that's the amount I was looking for, so that's good. On the other side, I have our microgreens growing. We ate a whole tray. We fed the rest to chickens. So we include these delicious microgreens, especially radishes. Radishes were phenomenal to include in salads because they not as bitter as radishes, but then they give your salads this nice kink. So we love microgreens. So we've been growing them and adding them in salads ever since we started. So this is my achievement, I guess, this year. I just planted these with kids actually in my school last week. So the cucumbers came up really nicely. I think I only have few cells that didn't germinate, and we do eat a lot of cucumbers. So I think most of them will go in the ground just because cucumbers grow upright. So we have a lot more gardening space if we just plant them on the side of the boxes and have them go up the vines. So that would be great. And there's 3 different varieties of cucumbers: the Early Fortune, the Bet Alpha, and the Muncher. Look at the name, the Muncher. I can't wait to taste those. These have been replanted from the tray. A little difficult to grow. I think the packet says to pre-soak the seeds, which I haven't done because we've planted it in school, and only about 50% of them came up. But Morning Glories is such a beautiful big flowers that grow on vines that you really don't need a lot of it. But I know some of my kids were hoping to take some of these home, so hopefully the other part of the tray will germinate. I'll show you what the other part of the tray is. So I'm still letting it sit, and hopefully they're cooking there. I know they're still in there, just haven't opened up. Only one I think is coming up, so I'll keep replanting it as I'm going. And this, let me show this first, is a huge tray of petunias. So this is the seeds that you're supposed to kind of put on the surface and let them germinate and sprinkle them. So I told my daughter to sprinkle a few, but somehow there's like 15 or 20 sprinkles in each seed cell. So we have a whole rug of petunias, which does need to be separated. As you can see, even on the smaller ones, there's a ton of little plants. So what I've been doing, and I've been doing an experiment with these petunias of actually having a few cells and separating them, which really breaks up their root system. So I didn't know, they were kind of drooping the first few days. I didn't know if they're going to survive, but they're doing well. None of them actually died, even the ones that root system was severely damaged. So I feel like we're going to replant the rest of the petunias, and we're going to have probably a whole I don't know, 8-9 trays of petunias. So watch out in our yard. It's probably going to be filled with petunias this year. This is my first year growing asparagus. I've never grown asparagus. We love eating asparagus. Somehow we avoided it for a few years, but our family got into asparagus this year. I tried growing it from seeds. I also got a couple of roots that I'm going to plant in the garden. But I figured I want more, and they're perennial, so you don't have to plant them every year. The more they grow, the more harvest you're going to collect. So I figured that I'll plant more seeds and give them a few years to grow. So they are very, very tiny. As you can see, they're even falling down. I'm still debating how I'm going to be able to pull them out once I'm ready to replant it in the garden. This is just a few extra basil plants and new plants. These are zinnias, which I planted 2 years ago, and they grew into this beautiful bush in front of our yard. And it was just phenomenal. It was so tall. It was like almost about 5 feet tall, with beautiful flowers that were blooming into the fall. So this is not just going to be that I'm planting a couple of these pods, so hopefully it's going to make that beautiful bush again in the front yard. This is my first year planting rosemary, also very, very tiny seeds. Very, very slow to grow. So I don't know if I wanted to plant it from seeds or just buy the variety from the store and just replant it in a garden. But it's a good experiment to have. Also the mint. I wanted to plant different kind of mint. And guess what? Mint seeds are tiny. Their plants are tiny. So I was even afraid to water it, because when the seedlings came up, it was painful even watering it with the mist, because it would just bring the plants down. But eventually some of them survived. Some didn't germinate. On the bottom here, those are the petunias. That's the morning glories that I'm still waiting to come up. This, I think it looks like a cilantro. I don't remember if it was parsley or cilantro. Oh. Why don't I wait 2 minutes to give it a taste test? Let's see. Definitely parsley. That's the sort of parsley. Definitely tastes like parsley. So parsley, if you plant it in the garden, they will come up. It's a perennial. So I'm definitely putting like an herbal bed. It's going to regrow over here, which I love about parsley and other herbs. Sunflower. This is a huge sunflower where you collect the seeds. I've done this experiment with kids to put it in seedlings, not just to put seedlings, to put seeds in the grow bags. I'm not liking it. They've been here sitting for a week and they're not germinating, so we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen to these. This is my first time planting corn. Now, do your research before you plant your seeds. So with corn's supposed to be planted in the ground when it's at least 60 degrees, and it doesn't like to get replanted. They do suggest growing it indoors to give it a head start, but the problem is it's already going big, And if it doesn't like to get replanted, by the time it gets 16 another month, this corn is going to be huge. And if we replant it, we are risking of not having any corn cobs. So I don't know if it makes sense, but I just refuse to throw it out. So it's just beautiful corn, still growing. What else? This is still the wheat that we've been growing for the chickens. We've been growing trays and trays of this. I think I'm almost going through the 25-pound bag. And they love it. And it's so soft. I think I'm going to grow it in the summer too, because I'm going to do more juicing in the summer. And I read about many health benefits that wheat has, and it's just such a great plant, such a great seeds to grow, to even juice and drink ourselves. And I wanted to do this lettuce garden for a long time. I wanted to have our own lettuce throughout the year, because we do have this beautiful garden, beautiful greenhouse inside the house with lights. So lettuce is a little slow to grow, so I wish I just planted different kind of varieties, but in another week or so we can harvest it. And even now we can harvest it, just young leaves. I'm putting out garden, and it just keeps growing and growing. So it's very nice. And more soil to transplant. This is more trays, so once I feed a tray to chicken, I put in another 2 trays of seeds to germinate for wheat. And it's starting slowly. Same as here, I think I did it at the same time. This is the alfalfa sprouts. Can't see them yet. Their seeds just starting to open up. They're a little dark. Once they grow a little bigger, I'll put them under the light. And same for peas. These are going to be pea sprouts. They like to grow in the darkness. And in order for the shoots to grow tall, so it's easier to cut, you have to kind of keep them in the dark. And only when you're ready to harvest, you put them under the light. So I've managed. And they like to grow in the soil too. This is new. It's not germinated yet. There's some leeks. And basil, thyme, and some sunflower that didn't work out there, that I'm trying to regrow here. And more zinnias and more plants, and I'm going to keep this one a surprise. I never grew this. In Russian it's called ramashka. I actually use it for tea, so, which is great. Oh, that's it for the garden update. My daughter was doing this pot. Seema gave us a white pot, and my daughter decided to give it, we had some kind of spray paint available, so she spray painted it, and she wrote that there are no mistakes in gardening, only the experiments. I said, oh, that sounds great, I love it. So we're going to definitely replant stuff in that pot. So that's the garden update. All the cold crops are in the garden, they're also doing phenomenal.